Joining me on the sofa now is Karen Preston, who's a Portsmouth author who's just had her first book published. Thanks very much for joining me, Karen. You've come from Havant. Tell me a bit about your book. What's it about and who's it for?
It's a coming-of-age story. It's the main protagonist is a young boy, 14, called Ewan, who now lives in Wickham, which is a town. Do you know Wickham village?
Yep, yeah.
But he's originally from Birmingham, so he's very much the outsider.
Okay, so he moves from Birmingham,
yes,
does he,
with,
and
with
comes
his
down to
stepdad
Wickham.
and his mum.
Right.
And he's very bullied at school because he's the outsider.
Okay.
But the story is his coming of age, which is the play of the word boy to Bowman, the title. He becomes the Bowman, the hero of a fantasy land called Tremolo. Okay, and he's taken to Tremolo by the Sentinel, which was set up by his great-great-grandmother, because he is the 8th Bowman of Tremolo. There will eventually be 8 books.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just sent my second to my publisher.
Wow.
So hopefully that's going to be out soon. So he's taken by the Sentinel, which is an old willow tree in a meadow that he goes to. It's a safe place. It's a place where nobody else goes, that he can sit with his feet in the stream under the willow and he whiles away his days. Not knowing that is actually his way into this secret land. He meets the Griffin, as the Griffin is, he's the half eagle face and the body of originally a dog. He sees it first as a dog. And it is, as I say, a coming of age story of Ewan going to Tremolo to become the hero.
And I mean, you're following in the footsteps of some great authors who've also written about this kind of coming of age and also in relation to that kind of fantasy land.
Yes.
I mean, The Lion, the Witch of the Wardrobe immediately springs to mind.
Yeah.
What is the kind of appeal of having this kind of alternate reality, do you think, especially for young people?
It came originally because its target audience is kind of 11 to 15.
Right.
Although I do now know a lot of adults that have read it and enjoy it, so it's very much a crossover book, I believe. It came to birth for a story for my 3-year-old daughter 20 odd years ago. She's now nearly 30, who didn't accept being read to from a book. She much preferred mummy telling her stories.
Right.
So I told her the story of Timothy Archer, which is what it was originally. He's now become Ewan. And so the story has taken me nearly 30 years to write.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a patient lady,
exactly.
Karen.
Yeah, so that's how it was born, as Timothy Archer, for a story for my 3-year-old. And she's been saying ever since she's been old enough, you must write it down. It's such a good story, Mum. You really must write it down.
Yeah.
So that's what I've done. So that's where it came from, just a story out of my head to tell my daughter at bedtime.
And do you think that, because I think there's people enjoy this, people that have been bullied and also just normal children that aren't bullied love this idea of escaping and going somewhere that doesn't exist in real life. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they can be themselves there or not be themselves there. They can be somebody else. When Ewan goes to Tremolo, he is nothing like the child that goes to school. He's able to be what he knows he can be. And I think with going to a separate land and not doing it here, he's able to do it successfully there.
Kind of maybe getting away from senses of self-doubt and negativity that surround him in
Unfortunately,
the real world.
The part of the story is his bullies, which are the local, he calls them, just them. They are actually part of the story. They go to Tremolo, which is very, very unusual because normally the only people that go to Tremolo are Bowman.
Okay.
But they are part of the magic of the anti-hero Abaddon, who is trying to destroy Tremolo for his own means. He's heard that men from our land have weapons and are happy to kill one another. So he invites, against the Tremolo laws, he invites these bullies in, including Ewan's stepfather, who turns out to be a baddie.
Oh.
So,
lots of twists.
Yeah.
So you're going to read us a little extract. Can I ask you to go ahead and do that?
I've got 2, and one is showing Ewan as the bullied child.
Okay.
So he's gone to school and he's about to do PE. So PE was the worst. We were supposed to be playing tennis in groups of 4, and unlike at my old school in Birmingham, boys and girls did PE together. As I had every week since coming here, I was the last to be chosen to play in any of the teams, and as usual was stuck playing with a group of 3 stupid and giggly girls, all of whom spent longer admiring their nails and not worrying about the ball hitting them or taking any notice of me. This was because none of the boys would choose me to play with them in their team, not even those just above me in the pecking order. The fat boy with glasses, the boy whose nose ran like a tap all the time, and the ginger boy with spots. They enjoyed the rare opportunity of not being at the very bottom of the popularity pile, the position they had obviously held before I arrived. Okay, so that's Ewan dreading a PE lesson because he's just never picked, and we've all been there. Okay, but towards the end of the story, he's become the hero. Stonk, who's another character of the book, grabbed my arm and hissed, "Now is the time for the archer to do as Tremolo requests. An arrow loosed into the dark. Take aim, Ewan. You have only one chance at this. You cannot miss. Watch as he walks to the centre of the graves. Take aim as he holds the elixir aloft. Remember, aim where it is going to be, not where it is." I looked towards the wraith as it walked slowly but deliberately towards the headstones. When he reached a particularly tall and grand stone, he stopped and began to speak. It was impossible to hear what he was saying, but as he continued, he took a flask from his pocket, and just for an instant it glinted as the golden liquid inside reflected the flames ranging around him. I pulled the string on my bow, surprised to find it easier to pull than I remembered. I knocked the arrow and pulled the bowstring until it touched the tip of my nose, as shown me by my grandfather. I held my breath, marvelling at how calm I was. I heard a whispering of men and women. I was sure the voices of my grandfather and mother was among them. So he's actually now responsible for killing the wraith at the end, and he's very successful. So he's gone from this little boy who can't play tennis with the girls to the killer of the wraith.
Quite a transformation.
Yes, very much a transformation.
And
yes.
You used to be a teacher, Karen.
I did.
How much did kind of that experience of being around children in schools and, you know, the difficulties that exist there, and perhaps even your own childhood inspire you in this book?
Very much. I didn't have the best of childhoods myself. I think that is part of Ewan. I do actually see myself more as his mum, Alice, who is a big part of the story in this, but she's also the protagonist for the next story. It is Alice's story called Paying Dearly. She goes to Tremolo as well. They're actually back to front. He's the 8th, Alice is the 7th, her father is the 6th.
So we'll be going backwards.
Yes, we'll be going backwards,
right.
Which has caused problems of its own because I have to exactly remember what was said in this one. To know what, I can't say that. So he died in that one. You can't possibly have him in this one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so, it's been a bit awkward, but it's the way it's come. So, so being a teacher very much did help. You know, I know what it's like.
What kind of things did you draw on?
I teach in I don't know if you heard of Lee Park. It's not the best place to grow up. I grew up there. I was very underprivileged, and I have actually taught children that wouldn't even have got changed to do PE because they didn't want the bruises that Daddy had done last night to be shown. And it was that sort of, and there was one little lad that I won't name, he was in my class, who never did do PE because he just would not change and he couldn't do PE in his clothing. So I drew upon that sort of thing. So, yeah. Some
deep stuff. So it's just come out just a couple of weeks ago in January. It's in the shops now,
it's in the shops. Waterstones, can I advise? Amazon.
Well, best of luck with it, and best of luck, of course, with writing, the other 7 books.
I've actually got 3 written.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm a third into the 4th. So,
well
let's hope
done.
so. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.